Hi, this is Nate Briscoe, and welcome to my presentation on Pear Deck. I was not familiar with Pear Deck Learning before researching it for this module, but what I found was that it has a lot of potential for all sorts of classroom activities. Let's jump in. So, what is Pear Deck? Pear Deck is a web-based interactive instructional tool. Pear Deck does require a Google or Microsoft 365 account. This allows you to sync up files that you may want to use that are in your Google Drive or OneDrive and allows you to export or save what you create using the Pear Deck platform. Within the platform, there are four main applications. The first one being Pear Deck, which is where you can upload or create slides via Google Slides or PowerPoint to use as an instructional classroom interactive presentation. This particular application doesn't end just in the classroom. There are templates for various subjects and contents, such as professional development or even social emotional lessons as well. The next application is something called Pear Start, where you can choose from a library of AI-generated lesson plans to save time for prep. All of these lesson plans can be aligned to standards, and there is a huge amount of subject areas that it covers as well. The next application is something called Pair Practice, which is where you can create differentiated practice and have groups collaborate on classroom activities. And the last application is something called Pair Assessment for classroom assessments, obviously. You can create assessments with co-teachers or colleagues, and there's a whole lot of data that this application collects to kind of help better understand your student outcomes. Pear Deck is free to use, but there are advanced features that require a paid subscription or a district account. I spent quite a lot of time looking at just the Pear Deck application, so let's take a peek at what you can do with it. When you log into Pear Deck, this is what you'll find. You'll have your applications right here. We're going to take a peek here at the Pear Deck, which is our interactive instructional presentations. You can open up the app, and over here you'll see that it has a host of features. What you can do is you can come to the Content Orchard, which is basically a whole bunch of Pear Decks that are offered by Pear Deck, the platform itself. They have all sorts of ways you can filter out or search for different material. You can also create a lesson from scratch. They also have a flashcard factory, which is kind of a cool interactive vocabulary tool. I'm a science teacher, so I was exploring some of the science Pear Decks that they have here. So you can search for any types of content topic, or you can just scroll through and you see that they have different templates. They have, these are the flashcard factory templates they have. But what I did was I went up here to create, and I decided that I was going to create a instant lesson package. So I clicked on this, and what you can do is you kind of create a whole lesson using all three of the applications. And what I did was I created a lesson on density, and their AI engine generated this Pear Deck for me. So I just kind of set the parameters here. I put in my information, and what you can do is obviously there are options or advanced options that you can use to kind of customize the Pear Deck. So if you come down here, you can see that the Pear Deck itself, you can choose the lesson type, the content. You can choose the pair practice set, what types of questions you like, how many questions, and also the assessment. All right, so you can choose not only the types of questions that they have, but also you can choose the depth of knowledge, which I thought was a really cool feature, and also difficulty. So let's jump in to see how that Pear Deck turned out. So after Pear Deck generates your lesson package, it can be saved to your Google Drive or OneDrive, and you can go up here to open existing lessons. I have it in my Google Drive here, and I'll show you what the slide deck looks like. So here is our understanding density lesson. And this is where we can kind of start with our student interaction. But before we do that, let's just take a peek at what Pear Deck created. So it created 26 slides. Of course, we have our lesson objectives. And there's a few slides here that start right off here with our student response, where students are interacting with the presentation, the content itself. As you move through the presentation, after students learn how to calculate density, they get some practice. They are given some measurements to calculate density, and they would enter their numbers here on that slide. And then as you move through the presentation, like I said, there's some more practice, there's some real world applications, and there's even an exit ticket here at the bottom to kind of help with understanding student outcomes. So let's take a peek at what it would look like when students are interacting with Pear Deck. Once you're ready to present your Pear Deck, you come down here to present live. And this is where the students will be able to access the actual Pear Deck itself. So they can either go to this website, joinpd.com. They'll need to have either a Google account or their Microsoft 365 account, or you can attach rosters to Pear Deck, or you can just enable this link right here. You give students a link. You can copy it into whatever Schoology or an email, and they can get access through that link. Now, the really cool thing about Pear Deck is this is the screen that students would see. They just see this code, but this is the teacher dashboard. And this is where you kind of interact as the teacher to the Pear Deck. So students would see just the slides, these right here. But what the teacher will see are these portions of the slides here. And slide 3 right here, this is where we see our first student answer or response. They would type their answer right here after reading through the slide, going through the prompt. And what would happen is student answers would be generated in this space right here. So only the teacher would see this space. And what you can do is down here, you can show all the responses, or you can select certain responses to show the whole class. You can edit responses, so you can kind of message students in real time to maybe give them a little feedback about what they did, either correctly, incorrectly, give praise, whatever you need to do. Some of the other features is the lock screen features. You can lock student screens so they're not moving ahead or answering questions or taking too much time. You can adjust the times to give them just a short amount of time or even more time to answer questions. And another really cool feature is this new prompt. So if students are really missing the mark, their answers don't seem to have anything to do with what you're doing, you can create a new prompt to kind of go back and clarify any of the content. So you can adjust your teaching and adjust learning and kind of clear up any misconceptions or misunderstandings right on the spot. So it's really, really helpful, really cool. So if you want to end your session, you can end your session. And what you can do is you can save your session. And what I'll do is I'll put density 2 and you save it. And what will happen is it'll be archived. And what you can do is you can use this session again. You can come back to it for review, or students can use it as a way to kind of work through it at home if they're able to access Pear Deck from home, or if students are out of school. All right, so it's a great tool to kind of interact with students within the classroom. Now, I only explored the Pear Deck feature of Pear Deck Learning, but the other applications within this platform are very cool and could be a great tool, great digital tool that you can use within your classroom. With this platform, there is a bit of a learning curve with applying all the applications, especially if you're creating your own slides, or some of the advanced features can be a bit tricky, but the templates and the AI generated lesson packages are real time savers. And as with any AI generated material, reviewing the information for accuracy is obviously necessary. But in terms of ITSE standards, Pear Deck, with all of its applications, and if used in an authentic way, fit into standards 1 through 6. So here are some examples. The learner standard, where we're modeling and exploring with Pear Start, the lesson generator, research-informed use of brain breaks found as a Pear Deck, so you can use these within the classroom, so kind of making sure that you are staying up to date on research and knowing what works in the classroom. As far as a leader standard, all right, sharing and modeling with colleagues the instant lesson packages. So kind of going over and showing how these work with colleagues and coworkers is a great way to fit that standard. In terms of a citizen standard, with using the Pear Deck's SEL discussion prompts, those kind of model digital empathy and privacy and digital fluency. With a collaborator standard, students can create interactive gallery walks where students share what they've learned or what they have created on shared slides so they can collaborate together digitally. As far as the designer standard, students can use interactive drawable slides for in-class discussions, all right, and that can kind of create personalized learning for each student, all right, so there's different ways that students can show or demonstrate their learning using Pear Deck. And obviously our facilitator standard, we can use Pear Deck to create choice boards, so that kind of allows student ownership. So if they want to make posters or videos or songs or video documents, animations, all right, that is something that Pear Deck offers. Well, thanks for watching, and I hope that you learned a little bit about Pear Deck.